Hey, welcome back to the Pilot's Mindset episode 14 out of the 29-day consistency challenge. Congratulations to the ones who managed to stick with the challenge. That is definitely an accomplishment in itself. We're almost halfway through. Wow. Round of applause. Bravo. So as you can see tonight, I am with Alina, my lovely girlfriend. Today is Valentine's Day, and today's topic, of course, is love
and aviation.
And how they are tied to one another. The idea of the pilot's mindset was born around the concept of utilizing the three priorities that we follow in the flight deck, which is aviate, fly the plane, navigate, making sure that you are heading in the right direction, and communicating effectively and assertively with the other crew member. And here at the pilot's mindset, we said aviate, navigate, communicate, applicable to life. So tonight we are...
And to love.
Exactly. We are applying aviate, navigate, communicate to love. So, Alina, can you tell us what aviate means for you in terms of love? What is this?
Other than aviate means to fly. So
Okay.
in my mind, I feel like aviate means to soar in the clouds, but then also have some direction and focus.
Okay.
And so for that, I feel like you need to have your essentials met.
Yes, I agree with you. So, what are your essentials? Your essentials, just in our perception, would be trust. Trust your partner, which is not an easy thing to do, but it's definitely a necessary ingredient in the recipe of good relationship. Support your partner in any endeavors they've decided to get on. And last but not least, respect them. Cover your basics and you are aviating your relationship, meaning you're making sure that the plane is going to be wings level. You are going to keep the blue side
up.
Yeah! She watched the last episode. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Aviate is taken care of. Navigate. What is navigate tonight?
Navigate is you didn't go over this with me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry, can you do it again?
So what is navigate, Alina?
Navigate means to navigate the obstacles and challenges that are in a relationship.
That's it.
And to navigate life's ups and downs.
Exactly. So it's all the choices that you are going to make together as a team so as to direct your love to fruitful land.
Okay. Excited here.
That sounds super cheesy, but that's how I see the navigate in the relationship is all the choices that you're going to make as a team will have direct consequences on the success of your relationship, on the outcome of your relationship. In the same token that if we are flying from point A to point B and we make a series of choices that will lead us astray, then we'll never get to our destination. We have to ensure that we make the right choices. A good example is during summertime when we have to avoid those massive thunderstorm cells that are 300 miles spread of width. We have to make the right choices so as to make sure that we are keeping our fuel to the level that we need so as to get to the destination. That is for me the navigating part applicable to a relationship. Sometimes we have to divert in the relationship. Sometimes we plan to go from point A to point B, but guess what? Because of the external circumstances, we have to be adaptable and we have to divert to an alternate destination, but we have to do it as a team, respectfully, in a trustworthy manner, and of course in a what would you say?
Supportive, where we support each other's new challenges.
That's it.
Including consistency challenges.
That's right. including the 29-day consistency challenge. So as you can see tonight, Aviate, Navigate, Communicate applicable to love actually works. How about communication?
Communication is all about understanding that person, where they're coming from, and communicating how you're feeling and your interpretations of their feelings. It's all about perception and taking the other person's perspective.
That's right. It's in my personal perception, speaking of perception, communicating is being as transparent as possible, being mindful of the headspace that your partner is in is very important, and it's very challenging to do, because that's the only way to be able to touch on maybe certain subjects that would be otherwise sensitive.
So it's not just words, honey. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you know what kind of headspace your partner is in. And it's also about being assertive yet non-aggressive, meaning communicating effectively what you want, knowing that you will have to compromise. Compromising is a big and important concept in a relationship. And yeah, I'm still working on it.
It's okay, we all are.
Alina, would you be able to tell us about the 7 pillars that you were talking about before we started this video?
So yeah, we came up with 7 connections between Aviate and between aviation and love. And so when we came up with that, we found that there are 7, and the first one is takeoff and falling in love.
All right. So essentially, when we are all strapped up, all ready to go, all lined up on the runway, and we apply power, it is absolutely exhilarating because we're there. The engines are roaring. We get to accelerate. In terms of visual, we get to see once again the center line going vroom, 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 vroom. You hear as well the speed accumulating because you hear the tires going fum, 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 fum. And you know that something is about to happen, and then you pull, and next thing you know, you up in the air. And that is phase 1 of a relationship. When someone falls in love with someone else, it's just an acceleration of emotion. It's exhilarating. It's overwhelming. That's what the takeoff phase is all about. Then a few months go by, and then you're in the climb out, and you keep on climbing and climbing and climbing. And at some point, well, you have to level off. You have to get to your cruising altitude.
Those butterflies, when you're kind of dropping, you get more used to, right?
That's right. So now you get into not the routine, but you have to get in the routine, actually. So you get to cruise. Cruise is not as exciting, but it's definitely as challenging.
But you skipped an important one.
Oh, tell me.
Navigating turbulence.
Yeah, well.
So what does that mean as a pilot? You tell me.
Well, navigating turbulence, we navigate turbulence whereas we are in climbing phase, cruising phase, approaching phase, landing phase. And what it means is 2 things. First of all, we have to be proactive. At all times, we want to be aware, for the lack of better words, of the environment ahead of us. It's called being ahead of the airplane. We want to be proactive, not reactive. We want to have a plan when we're going to hit those turbulence, or we want to have the ability to avoid those turbulent areas by communicating effectively with your team member before hitting those turbulences. But sometimes you can't avoid turbulences. So what do? As a pilot, the first thing you're going to do is, once again, you are going to avoid them. But if you can't avoid them, you're going to have to reduce the speed of the aircraft up to a certain amount, so down to a certain safety speed, so as to limit the amplitude of the turbulence going up and down and up and down. And as a couple, I guess you can do the same thing. effective communication, once again, transparent communication.
I think you
And
missed a really key one, though.
tell me.
I think a key one for navigating turbulence is resilience. How resilient are you? And how resilient is your relationship? And how willing are you to fight for it? Are you giving up right away when there's a disagreement or a fight or something like that? Like, there are always going to be disagreements. You're going to have to work things out. You're going to have to compromise. But are you able to work through those difficult times? Or are you going to crash?
Well, thank you very much, Alina. I was definitely in pilot mode, as you can tell. My head was definitely into the flight deck and not into the relationship. So appreciate that. It's true. It's just true.
Yes.
Okay, what's next?
Navigating altitude and stability.
Okay, so what can you tell us about this?
Well, I'm not a pilot, but I believe it has to do with keeping the nose straight, keeping yourself on track, and
All right.
making sure that the relationship is cruising in a healthy way, healthy, stable, and reliable way. You want to make sure that it's fulfilling, and you've kind of figured out that turbulence. You figured out each other, your strengths and weaknesses, and then you go from that resilience turn point to just enjoying it.
Okay. And as a pilot, I can tell you what it is if you fly an aircraft that is not equipped with an autopilot, the cruise portion of the flight is actually very taxing, meaning that it's actually very hard to keep your wings level all the time and to maintain your altitude all the time. And remember what I was telling you in the previous episode, you have to keep the blue side up. You have to keep your aircraft right above the horizon and wings level. And if you do not have an autopilot, because of the environment throwing at you all kinds of different mini curveballs, meaning that the parameters fluctuate all the time, meaning that you have updrafts, downdrafts, and stuff like that. You constantly have to correct tiny, teeny correction of pitch and roll and yaw. So you are working all the time. So if you have an autopilot, guess what? Life is good because the autopilot will constantly correct for you. But if you do not have an autopilot, as a pilot, you have to make those tiny, teeny correction all the time to maintain your altitude. And as a couple, you don't have an autopilot. So how do you do it?
How do you do it, honey?
I think once again, communication. You have to communicate. You have to communicate, and once.
What else do you have to do?
Well, communication allows you to be aware of the fluctuations, and then you make a correction, tiny correction, and you also have to compromise.
Okay.
So.
What about support?
Yeah, definitely.
Emotional support.
Yeah, I still have a lot of work to do as far as being good at successful relationship. It's true. I have to admit it, and so hence the reason why we're talking about this subject as well tonight.
Well, you're very good at aviation.
Well, because it's a passion. Or is it just because it's a passion? Maybe it's because it is more palatable. Because it's so technical.
It's straightforward.
Yeah.
But the truth is, relationships can be a lot more straightforward than people think. I think with active listening and support and compassion for yourself and for the other person, it can be a lot clearer than a lot of people admit. I think the more self-aware you are, the more tools you have, the more gauges you have, the more buttons that you have to press.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's my take on it, though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how could we make it simpler than what it appears to be?
Well, you don't want it to be simple because the planes that we fly, like, they get more and more buttons all the time. And it's just I've seen the flight decks.
True.
And the
more
that
complex.
they have, the more complex they are, the more versatile, the more agile.
Yes.
Even some of them can do loops. as
Yeah.
you told me the other night.
Aerobatics, yeah.
Yeah, so
Aerobatics dedicated aircraft scan,
if
absolutely.
you want to be able to do loops, honey, I think you also need to be able to see all the different gauges.
Interesting metaphor. What do you guys think? In the comments below. What else would you like to tell us tonight? She has a whole list
Okay,
that she's come up with.
Navigating long distance relationships. So this is something I might know a little bit about, in the sense of if you date a pilot, then sometimes you don't see that person for like 5 days in a row or more, sometimes even a week. And that happens when they go on long haul flights. And so you have to maintain that level of intimacy and connection. You have to keep them involved with what's going on in your daily life. All the things are changing all the time. So I think that's another thing that you have to adapt to.
And how about the people that are on rotations? The ones that we have a friend that has just landed a job as a survey pilot, and he's going to do 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off. How would you deal with that?
I think they have to be very creative in what they do. They have to talk. They have to, sing together, read books, the same books, like
okay, interesting.
play the same games. They have to find things to stay connected. They have to share things.
Okay, interesting, because when I was a medevac pilot 12 years ago, I was on a 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off schedule. And I can tell you that based on my experience, it was really hard to maintain good interpersonal dynamics.
Yeah, you told me about that relationship.
Yes. So you have to be creative. It's interesting. I like that.
That's why you date psychologist / nurse.
Ah, I see.
Pseudo-psychologist, a psych degree.
Okay. All right. Hence the reason why we're making the connection between aviation and love tonight.
And the other thing is on the list was thrill of exploration.
Thrill of exploration.
Oh, this is the fun one. This is my favorite, actually.
So, as pilots, of course, the very, very, very first thing that motivates us is flying. We have a passion for flying. We love being up in the air. We love feeling the air moving us just left and right. And we love the views.
We love to explore.
And we love to explore, because an aircraft allows us to go to places that a car or something else would not allow us to. I have to admit that a helicopter allows you to go to any places, but has a much shorter range than a jet aircraft. I love helicopters too, by the way, so hello to all the helicopter pilots and helicopter pilots family. I think you guys do a phenomenal job. Back to the exploration for long-haul pilots, for instance, when we arrive at our destination, of course, we're going to get a little bit of sleep, well-deserved sleep after such a long flight. But the next day, we are going to confront ourselves to a new culture, to expose ourselves to a wide array of different colors, smells, textures, cultural differences, and that's very stimulating for the brain.
Okay,
very
but what
exciting.
does that have to do with relationships and love, honey?
The navigation part? The exploration part?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, my personal perspective is that you, as a team, one of your jobs is to keep the relationship interesting, to keep it alive. So that implies that you constantly have to come up with ideas to explore areas that you haven't touched yet. Could be through traveling, could be through different challenges that you decide to get on, like a 29-day consistency challenge, for instance. Goof. Or anything that can reignite the spark. What do you think?
I don't know if it's a reigniting. I think it's more about just just enjoying and exploring and being in a state where you're exploring all the things that you want to see and do, and you're just doing that with the person that you care about.
Okay.
I think that is just a healthy dynamic that should be in all relationships. Don't get me wrong, going out for dinner, having a nice glass of wine is lovely, but when it comes to really building something real, I think it's important to have unique experiences together. And I think it's especially true of people that are interested in navigation and interested in flying, because that's all a huge part of the passion. But I think all of us internally have like a need and interest to explore and learn new things.
So learn new things to keep the relationship interesting.
Yeah, like
Do we agree?
Yes.
Okay, so at least after almost 21 minutes, we agree on something.
That's a good start.
It's a good sign. I mean, I'm hoping so. Anyway.
So clear communication. We've got that. Yes.
Clear communication. All right. What else?
Well, the next one actually is clear communication. So it's all about navigating and clear communication.
Excellent.
And
anything else you'd like to add?
Just being open and honest. That's it. That's all it's about. Being heartfelt, being open, sharing what's going on, talking about where your heart's at, and also recognizing when you need to talk about things. The last one is the joy of soaring together.
Ah, that's a good one. So once again, passion, 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 passion. It is absolutely thrilling to share the experience of flying together. When you're way up and it's a beautiful weather, you look down and you are absolutely dazzled by what you get to see. Or it's at night, you look up, you look at the stars, and it's just mesmerizing. Or you get to see the moon rising. Or, even better, you fly right around the Arctic Circle, or maybe even a little higher in latitude, and you get to see incredible northern lights throughout the flight, right across your windshield.
Same thing as looking into my eyes, right?
That's right. I'm in trouble.
Thank you for listening.
And the joy of just navigating together, navigating through both
the ups and the downs.
The ups and the downs,
the
absolutely.
Turbulence, the fun.
Yes.
A little bit of exploring, and a lot of joy.
So it's all about embracing the experience altogether, embodying the relationship dynamics. Well, what do you think, Alina? You think we've covered what we wanted to talk about tonight?
I think we have.
Excellent. How would you want to finish this?
I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I hope you're having a good evening, and I hope this encourages you to continue on your love and passions and journeys, no matter where it is right now, and if it is with a loving partner, and if not, if maybe it is with a cat, or if with your dog, or with your friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
They all are related. So yes, just keep the love, keep the joy, keep navigating. And
keep the blue side up. All right. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Should you want to react to this video, please comment below. And yeah, we could go on a discussion because it's a very deep subject. Pilot's mindset, aviate, navigate, communicate. Thank you again for watching. Keep the blue side up, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.